Welcome to Julie's Got You Covered, the podcast where Julie Sears, founder of Integrity Health Insurance Advisors, takes the fear out of finding the right health insurance. With 7+ years of experience, she's here to make finding the perfect coverage a breeze. Stay tuned for details on how you can snag a free 30-minute consultation.
Thinking about canceling your insurance policy? Julie walks you through the right steps to avoid unexpected coverage gaps or penalties. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Sophia Yvette, the co-host / producer, back in the studio with Julie Sears, founder of Integrity Health Insurance Advisors. It's great to have you back, Julie. How have you been?
I've been great. How about you?
I have also been great, and that is wonderful to hear. So, Julie, everyone wants to know, what's the process for canceling an insurance policy?
So it's going to vary by company and carrier. So sometimes with private insurance, as an independent agent, I can send in those cancellations and get that taken care of for you. Sometimes it's just as easy as calling the number on the back of the card and talking to a customer service rep and getting that plan canceled. The biggest thing that I do like to preface for people is make sure that you've either got your next plan lined up or what your next steps are so that you don't have that gap in coverage, because sometimes that cancellation can be immediate or, down the line. Just depends on what you've got set up with that company and in that billing process.
So, Julie, a little bit of a scary question here. What happens if I cancel my policy outside of open enrollment?
So canceling a policy does not necessarily give you a special enrollment period to get on another plan. Some people have kind of thought otherwise and gotten themselves into a jam thinking, oh, I didn't like that one, so I want to cancel and find something better. But that doesn't allow you to necessarily get on something else. Obviously, private insurance is typically available, but if for some reason you don't qualify based on their specific qualifications, that could leave you uninsured until that next open enrollment session.
Wow. So, Julie, it sounds like there is a penalty for canceling my insurance policy. Is that correct?
There could be. You could just be left uninsured until that next window. And of course, at this point in the year, I know it's already May. We don't know how that's happening, but that next window you wouldn't be able to get new coverage until January 1st.
Wow. So, Julie, how do I time the switch between old and new coverage?
Work with an agent that you trust, and we can at least walk you through what that looks like and let you know what you're possibly qualified to enroll in moving forward. So of course, if you're starting a new job and your new coverage starts on June 1st, make sure your current policy is going to cover you through May 31st. If you have a lot of health conditions, even though you don't like your current plan, let's have a conversation and make sure that you're going to be properly covered, so that you don't make a leap and then not have that proper coverage in place.
So, Julie, are there different rules for canceling dental or vision plans?
I mean, it's going to pretty much work the same. You just might go uninsured. Obviously, not the most critical with dental or vision, unless you've got some work coming up for those teeth. And a new plan is going to have limitations and waiting periods. So you can't just necessarily jump into a new one thinking that they're going to cover the bulk of those charges.
Now, can I reinstate a policy after canceling it?
That's going to be based on company policy. So, and it's going to depend on what time frame. Most of them will give you a little bit of leeway to come back and change your mind. But after a certain period of time, 45, 60 days, there's no going back. That cancellation is going to be enforced and you'd have to re-enroll. Of course, you can't just re-enroll in a ACA plan for those Affordable Care Act plans. And on private, they're going to look at your claims history to determine whether or not you're going to be a risk factor for them to re-enroll you.
Now, how does canceling affect dependent coverage?
That's where it can get a little more leeway. So, an adult dependent, that could give them a qualifying reason because you didn't choose to cancel that coverage. Your parents canceled your coverage and you can go and get enrolled in something. But it's still, you're not necessarily having you may not qualify because it's going to just be based on the questionnaire from the ACA qualifications to see whether you do qualify for that enrollment period. Same with private. Most private don't do minor dependents. So if they're under 18, you may not be able to get them on a private plan. Over 18, again, you just have those specific qualifications for whatever company you're looking at.
So, Julie, do you have any examples of a time when this happened to a client of yours?
Unfortunately, yeah, we've had where, someone missed a payment or, thought they would cancel for a little bit. And unfortunately, something has come up and they now needed coverage, but they no longer qualify for a private plan and you don't have an ACA option because you don't have a special enrollment period. And so at that point, you are left with a limited benefit plan, which is just that. They're going to pay limited benefits. And that's what you're going to have. It pays what it pays. Doesn't necessarily pay bad, but it doesn't limit your potential out of pocket.
Any final words today for our listeners on the process for canceling an insurance policy?
Just find a trusted advisor to just bounce it off of and make sure you've got, all the I's dotted and T's crossed appropriately so that you don't have a gap, just in case, because that's what it's for.
Well, thank you for your insight into this, Julie. We'll catch you in the next episode. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks for tuning in to Julie's Got You Covered. Ready to say goodbye to insurance stress? Head to integrityhealthinsuranceadvisors.com or call 469-348-4066. That's 469-348-4066 to book your free 30-minute consultation. With Julie, health insurance doesn't have to be scary. She's got you covered.